So, I realized that for episode 2, my face looks a little pitiful. This is my weep face. Been told that it works for me. And if you know me at all, you know that I weep quite often. So often, in fact, that I keep a towel in my car, like a dish towel, because if I try to use napkins, first of all, it's bad for the environment. Second of all, they just end up everywhere, crumpled, and it's just sad. So I have this towel. And I know people are probably thinking, oh my gosh, that's gross. But let's be honest, it's a lot less gross than cloth diapers. Can we just throw that out there? I mean, listen, if you're a mom that can use cloth diapers, praise. Like, I say props to you. Me, I just want to be able to take the thing off and throw it in the trash can. So really, my snot towel is not any worse. Let's just be honest. Anyway, so cloth diapers brings me to today. Because, let me just tell you the experience that I had. So, I am with Kaylee Ann today, and we are having the time of our lives, and I'm dog/apartment sitting, which has just been so fun. And so, this morning we wake up, and we go to the airport to take Jordan to leave for her mission trip, and we're all pumped, you know, and like I woke up this morning, took the dog out, was being all like domestic and wife-like, and you know, was all ready and everything, and made sure it had everything it needed, and it was great. And so we leave and we go to the airport, and we don't even stay that long. First of all, because we didn't have enough quarters, and second of all, because I knew I had to come home to the dog. And so I'm like, oh, I've like made good timing, and I'm gonna get home and take it out, and it'll go to the bathroom, and it'll be great. And so as soon as we walk in the door, I mean, it is just like we are assaulted with the most deadly smell I've ever smelled in my life. Like, no. And so I walk in, and I'm like, oh my, I can't. And Kaylee Ann is behind me, and she just starts gagging. Like, her gag reflex goes crazy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, what are we going to do? And so we walk in, and the puppy, who's in its cage, has pooped. Let's just be blunt about it. Has pooped in the cage. Okay, problem. Okay, but the worst problem is that the puppy decided to step in the poop and rub it all over the cage, rub it all over itself, rub it everywhere. And I'm like, okay, cute. What are we going to do? And so we obviously go into panic and then problem-solving mode. And so we're coming up with all these ideas, and we're like, what do we do, and how do we clean this, and what's the best way, and how do we not die from holding our breath in the process? So anyway, we start cleaning up, and we've like moved the cage, and I'm like scrubbing the Clorox with Clorox wipes, and we're trying to figure this out. And then we realized, we're like, okay, we gotta clean this dog off somehow. So we have to get the dog from the kitchen to the bathroom. But the problem is, the dog has poop all over it. So how do you do this without being covered in poop? And at this point, I'm already covered in poop on my hands, but I really didn't want poop on the rest of me. And so, I had this idea. And if the owners of this dog see this video, they may smack me. But honestly, like, what else do you do? I had to be a problem solver in this moment. We decided to transport the dog from the kitchen to the bathroom using a trash bag. And in theory, I was going to put the dog in the trash bag and just carry the trash bag like, you know, Santa Claus or whatever. And that's not exactly how it happened. I picked up the dog and put it in the trash bag. Kaylee was holding the trash bag, and the dog's feet go through the trash bag, which was actually even better because it acted as a harness for her to hold the trash bag and the collar and carry the dog. It was very effective in the way that it went down. And so we got the dog into the tub, and she, you know, washed the dog, and I'm like, okay. So I went and I cleaned up the kitchen, and that took a while, and then Kaylee Ann came in and helped, and I was just like, okay, like, we got this. And in that time, like, while we're putting the dog in the trash bag and everything, I mean, we're laughing so hard we can't breathe. And, I mean, we just won't even talk about how funny it was. So, finally, after all that drama is over, and we're just like, oh my gosh, I need to go eat something sweet, because that's how you deal with your stress, we decided to drive to Granny's. Because everybody's like obsessed with Granny's. Oh my gosh, Granny's is the place to go. Granny's Donuts, whatever. Okay, so we get to Granny's Donuts, and we go in, and we're looking at all this great stuff, and Kaylee Ann orders, and I go up to order, and I look at this woman, and she's, I think she's Vietnamese. She might have, I don't know exactly where she was from, but, you know, there was a little bit of a language barrier, but I was like, you know, I mean, you can point whatever. So I'm talking to her and I'm like, this is how this conversation goes down. I'm like, I would like to get a dozen donut holes. Yeah, I decided to get donut holes. I was like, I want a dozen donut holes. And she's like, a dozen. I'm like, yeah, a dozen. Yep. Okay. So I like move over with Kaylee and we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting and we just keep waiting. And all of a sudden, homegirl walks out with a massive box. Like, probably could have fit the dog in the box. Massive box filled to the brim with donut holes. I'm like, first thought, guy behind me, that has to be his. And then I'm like, no, that's mine. And, I mean, I can't even imagine my face. I'm pretty sure it was like, I mean, I just had no idea what to do. And so, literally, the thought crossed my mind, I'm about to pay for all these donut holes because I don't want to tell this woman that this is absurd. But I was like, no, I can't do that. And so I look at her and I'm like, I wanted a dozen. She's like, yeah, a dozen. And I'm like, right, a dozen is 12. But you said a dozen. And I'm like, yeah. And so I look at Kelly and I'm like, Kelly, maybe I have this wrong. Like, is a dozen 12? And Kelly's like, yeah, a dozen is 12. And so she looks at the woman and she's like, a dozen, 12. And she's like, she said a dozen. And we're like, exactly. And so Kaylee gets this brilliant idea where I don't even know where this comes from. And she's like, so does that mean like when you order a dozen that you fill up a box that would fit a dozen donuts? And then I lose it because I'm like, what? And the woman's like, I don't understand. And I'm like, me either. I just want 12. I just want 12. That's all I want. And then it hits Kaylee and she's like, you mean 8 dozen? And she's like, 8 dozen. And then all of a sudden she decides to insert the T, as if she's been saying that the whole time. 8 dozen. No. So I learned today that you have to start specifying with 1. There is no a anything anymore. It is 1. Okay? I mean, I don't normally walk into places and say, I would like 1 dozen donuts, but I should have known. But this is the South, and I went to a place called Granny's. I mean, that's what people in the South call their grandmother, Granny's. So you don't exactly expect to have a language barrier with Granny. But, okay. So needless to say, this has been an eventful day. Pretty sure I've laughed till I've cried. I've wept. I have pretty much done everything. Not over the dog or the donuts. But, you know, I mean, it was tough times. And so I wanted to include everyone on the amazing day that I had. So please stay tuned for episode 3. It will not be as awesome as this great setting, but I will find something even better.